Welcome to this interview.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here.
Thanks. So firstly, I wanted to find out from you, what are the most significant barriers currently preventing Uganda's energy and mineral sector from attracting the level of foreign direct investment it deserves? And what is the chamber doing about that?
So Uganda, most of the countries that are landlocked, okay, access to ports that give you access to the market definitely does affect how much foreign direct investment you can attract in terms of manufacturing. Because the more manufacturers you have, the cheaper your energy is, the cheaper your energy will be. Uganda is currently embarking on a project for universal connectivity onto the national grid to make sure everybody is on the national grid and is connected to power. Africa, by and large, suffers from energy poverty. We have about 500,000 Africans that are not on the grid, on any grid. And that by itself is not the way that we should be going. So we need to be able to connect as many people as possible. We need to be able to provide cheap or affordable, accessible and energy that is able to service the needs of industry, but also the needs of households. And that is something that as a country we grapple with. Some of the incentives or some of the initiatives that have been done include putting in place an East African power pool that now, by the way, is connecting to Zambia and the SADC regions, so that we are able to share on the resources. At certain peak times, for example, you'll have excess power on, say, the East African side, and it's needed, say, in any SADC country, so you're able to connect and make sure that industry is serviced. So being able to deal with some of the interconnectivity issues is a key aspect. The other aspect maybe is access to finance. And by finance, I mean affordable, sustainable and patient capital that is required for energy infrastructure. We've had experiences where we've built dams, hydropower dams in Uganda, at very expensive capital or with very expensive money. And that usually has a trickle-down effect on the price of electricity. So being part of conversations all over Africa and finding what are other jurisdictions doing. We are here in Zimbabwe at this time to listen in and see what is Zimbabwe, what are SADC countries doing, for example, to access affordable, available, sustainable, and finance for their energy sector is one of the solutions. And I think our selling point should be that as African countries, how can we work more together? How can we work more together and crowd finance for energy projects? The DRC, for example, has great potential when it comes to hydropower. Okay, they have a potential dam that would produce enough power to power half of Africa. Okay, and that needs financing. Can we crowd finance that as African, so that we are able to deal with energy poverty in Africa? Or are we going to look for more expensive development financing and concession loans from wherever?
Yep. All right. Now, when it comes to the oil production in Uganda, we see that it's actually coming up in the coming years. So how are you as a chamber ensuring that local businesses and communities are positioned to meaningfully benefit from this value chain?
The first well was sunk in 2006 in Uganda. That's 20 years ago. We've taken 20 years to get to where we are. 2026, as we speak, is our year of first oil in Uganda. It's the year that oil will come out of the ground for the first time and be sold onto the international market. So what have we been doing all these 20 years? first thing was to make sure that we put in place a legal and regulatory regime that is pro-Uganda. Laws, for example, local content laws, production sharing agreements that ensure that value is retained in country. We have a local content law in Uganda, for example, that ring fences 13 services, making sure that those 13 services must be sourced from local companies. To make sure that even as we are doing the development, we have not yet gotten to fast oil, we have not yet started producing the oil, but even as we are doing the development, the ordinary Ugandan is benefiting. And as we speak right now of a $20 billion project, $1.5 billion has gone to African or to Ugandan companies in so far, even before fast oil. And that is an achievement that we're proud of. And we're looking to see how do we increase that. Our target was for 40% value retention. And at the end of it all, when we are done with the entire development phase, we'll be able to look back and evaluate and say, okay, what did we achieve when it comes to making sure that there is value retention in Uganda and in Africa. Right now, the discussions are moving slightly away from local content to national, regional, and continental content. That before we look for services outside the continent that are not available, for example, in our jurisdiction, say in Uganda, have you looked at the neighborhood? Maybe the services you're looking for are available within the neighboring countries. If they are not available within the neighboring countries in the region, have we looked in Africa? And the African Continental Free Trade Area is one of the aspects within there is to be sure how can we work together as Africans to see that we give opportunities to African companies before we, export the opportunities beyond.
Okay, right. That's very inspiring actually to hear and wonderful. So the next question I want to find out is, how is the Chamber working with the government to balance the exploitation of Uganda's mineral resources with the environmental sustainability and the country's commitments to climate goals?
Uganda in 2023 designed an energy transition strategy to make sure that we are cleaning up our energy sources. However, in our aspirations, we are clear about a couple of facts. One, we are clear about getting people out of energy poverty. We cannot talk about energy transition before talking about dealing or ending energy poverty. So, first, provide the energy. Then, transition to cleaner sources of energy. Uganda has been a herald on the international front to say to the world, that has said to Africa, do not exploit your oil and gas resources because oil and gas is dirty. And we have said, first in, first out. You started exploiting your oil and gas resources first, so you get out first before you tell us to get out. But in the meantime, we are committed to exploiting our oil and gas resources and any other resources, and even doing the mining and all that is necessary in a responsible way, taking care of the environment, taking care of the climate, taking care of the people. Because there is need, for example, for a social contract, for a social license to operate. But even as we do that, we are cognizant of the key fundamentals. Deal with the energy poverty. Deal with the poverty of the people within the areas where mining, for example, takes place. Even as we work towards cleaning up and responding to climate change and things of that nature. Africa has not contributed, has not made a dent, to climate, to the whole climate change and things of that nature. But we are responsible, and we will do what we need to do responsibly. However, the ones that have polluted, the ones that have caused the issues that we are dealing with, do the work first, do the reparations, and we are following right behind.
Okay, go ahead. And so lastly, I wanted to find out, in your view, what is the single most urgent policy reform which Uganda needs to unlock in order to see the full potential of its energy and mineral sector? And how are you as a chamber advocating for that?
The one issue, the one area that we need to work on as Uganda, and I believe as Africa, is working together to be able to come up with local investment in our resources. We are doing a lot of externalization. We are looking to wherever. We are looking to other continents. We're looking to Europe, we're looking to America, we're looking to China to sort our problems. We need to be able to look a lot more inside, sit down and see what do we need to do together in order to make this work. Uganda has a ban on export of ore and export of concentrated minerals. And the reason is to make sure that we have value addition in country. Brilliant policy. We need to have discussions around, can we work regionally, can we work continentally? Zambia is known for copper, for example. Tanzania is known for, gold, for diamonds, for lots of minerals. Same thing with DRC Congo and many other African. Can we work together? Can we work together and do the value addition continentally, for example? We are building railways and building infrastructure to ports, meaning that we are wanting to take as much out. How about if we built it to each other and worked together more, such that you can mine in one country and refine in another country within Africa, and make sure that we gain more value working together? That will get the continent moving forward. Europe has done it. Europe has moved to a single economic zone, not just a customs zone, or not just a single customs territory, but a single economic zone, and you're able to move goods and services within Europe. In Africa, we've not yet gotten to that place. I'm seated here in Zambia, but to get to Zambia, to get to Kitwe, where we are, I have to go north to Addis Ababa and then, go through Harare and then make my way here. Why? How do we build infrastructure that connects us together as Africans, connects our goods together, connects value addition together? In the session this morning, there was a talk of a time when there were electricity, fluctuations in this part of Africa. But during that very same time, the East African power pool had an excess of power. But there was no interconnectivity between the East African power pool and the SADC power pool. Yet we're neighbors to each other. Why is that an issue? So I think the single most important aspect that we need to be able to work on, not just Uganda, but African countries, is how can we work together? How can we do value addition amongst ourselves? How can we build infrastructure towards each other, rather than all we are interested in is get to the port and out?